Join me today as we talk about the new Agatha Harkness series on Disney Plus. This is the Geek Cabal channel. My name is Bobby, and we're going to be talking about the Agatha Harkness series on Disney Plus. At least the first two episodes, because that's what's out. This is an MCU production. It is a follow-up to the Wandavision series. So, if you haven't seen that, you might be a little bit lost in what's going on here in this show. So I would highly recommend you watch that first if you have not. Also, WandaVision was actually pretty good in my opinion. So, like, once you figure out what the deal with it is, I thought it was generally a good show. So, let's see. So, thus far in the show, like I said, it's only 2 episodes. The first episode, at least part of it, is kind of confusing until you figure out what's going on because, by the way, I am going to go into spoilers here, so there's not really any way for... Okay, I guess I'll talk about some non-spoiler stuff first. The show is a little bizarre up front. You don't quite know what's happening. It is more or less explained by the end of the first episode, assuming you've seen WandaVision. It's, you know, the show looks decent. The writing's okay. So far, it's not as bad as The Acolyte, in my opinion. I do see some people really berating the show, and I'm not there yet. Like, I don't think it's spectacular or anything. Like, I'm not just like, oh man, I've got to see the next episode. But like, I'm still at the I want to see what happens next. Then, as another reviewer I saw noted, and I was looking for this. There do seem to be an awful lot of practical effects so far, so that's one thing in its favor. Which means it won't age as quickly as some other shows. So that's nice. I mean, we haven't seen enough of any of the characters to really know what the hell's going on. I don't know about the... for those of you who've seen like some interviews and possibly some other reviews, several of the cast members are like on record as saying that this is the gayest Marvel production. I mean, in that I am relatively certain that Agatha and Aubrey Plaza's character are some kind of probably former lovers. At least that's the vibe I get from it. And that maybe the boy that's with them is probably gay. Like, okay, but that hasn't really impacted the show in any way. Like, and as I've said before, as long as that's not the focus, unless it's a story where that would be the focus, like Brokeback Mountain or something, then I don't care, you know? If they're gay, fine, whatever, you know? So that's the vibe I get from the characters thus far. So I don't really know what the going overboard with the interviews is all about, because I've got the feeling if things stay on the trajectory they're on, this could be like the X-Men 97, where there were statements before the show aired that kind of led some people to be a little skeptical, and then the show was fantastic. Now, I don't think this show is going to be fantastic, but so far it's competent, it's decent. I'm curious what happens next. I expect that throughout the rest of the show we're going to get a lot about Agatha's backstory and some interpersonal stuff between these characters. Maybe like a redemption arc, you know, because I don't think we're just going to have a show following a villain. At least that's my suspicion anyway. So, yeah, that's about all I can really say without really going into spoilers. So, I mean, like I said, the show's okay. I don't. It's not a dumpster fire. It is a little bizarre, but so was Wandavision. So, and I liked Wandavision. So I'm willing to stick with it and see what happens here. It's not great. Just, like I said, it's not great, but I don't see any major problems with it thus far. So, as long as the writing at least stays at this level, preferably improves, but let's say it stays at least at this level, then, everything worked for me so far. So, this is definitely not the Acolyte yet, where, the Acolyte, I saw trouble from the beginning. I'm not seeing that here yet, so we'll see what happens. Now, as far as spoilers go, we're going to enter the spoiler zone here. So, the show begins with Agatha as a detective, and as it progresses, we find out that essentially the other residents of the town have just been humoring her, and she's just been stuck there as a crazy person for 3 years because of what Wanda did to her at the end of WandaVision. And now that Wanda's dead, someone broke the spell that she was under, and so now she's back to her senses, and but she doesn't have her powers. So we also find out her whole stealing other people's powers thing is dependent on them attacking her with them, which she lets one character know that as a way to convince her to come along on their little journey, because she needs to go down what they call the Witch's Road, which the characters she assembles alternatively either think it's a suicide mission or that it's fake, or both. And the idea is you make it to the end, you get your heart's desire, which is her powers back. And so she tempts the others with, hey, you'll also get power. And she tells one of them, so long as you don't blast me with your powers, as long as you show just the slightest bit of self-control, I can't take your powers. So, yeah. And Aubrey Plaza's character informs, for whatever reason, she can't kill her herself, despite the fact she obviously wants to. She informs her that the Salem 7 are coming after her, because in her hundreds of years of life, she's pissed off several people. So yeah, so the second episode ends with them beginning down the Witch's Road, which I saw someone point out online, and I should have caught, as they were talking about it, I started, remembering these bits and pieces. There is potentially some purposeful parallels to the Wizard of Oz here. I mean, there's the obvious with the Witch's Road, especially once you see it, it's like an evil-looking version of the Yellow Brick Road through an enchanted land. You have that. It's in another dimension or something that they had to get to from the real world, similar to Dorothy crossing over into Oz. There are bits and pieces from the Wizard of Oz. I think in the intro, you had someone was called out as being cowardly, like the Cowardly Lion. Agatha refers to the boy that's with them as Toto at least once. There's a few other little things here and there. So I expect a lot more, as we go along, more Wizard of Oz references. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get to the end and, the end of the Witch's Road is the great and powerful Oz, who maybe like Kang or something. Probably not, because I don't think Jonathan Majors recorded anything for this. And Agatha has been down the road before. So, which is how she knew it was real and survivable. So yeah, like I said, it's not great, but it's watchable so far. I could see where people would be turned off by it. Yes, there is a group of witches in a coven singing a song to perform a ceremony. However, in my opinion, it was far better than the old power of one, power of two, and power of many from the Acolyte. But I can definitely see some parallels in the production of those two shows, and that's not good, because the Acolyte was very not good. But so far, this one doesn't seem to have the other baggage that the other one had. So, anyway, we'll see how it goes. I'm optimistic for the rest of the show, that it'll at least be watchable. But we'll have to see as we go along. So, that's my thoughts on the first 2 episodes. Let me know down in the comments if you've watched it. If you refused to watch it. If you did watch it, what do you think? Any speculation on what we're going to see in the future? I need to look up and see how many episodes it is, because I don't remember. So I'll have to check that out. But yeah, so like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Commenting and sharing are the greatest ways you can help our channel grow, and that's always appreciated. And, subscribing, obviously, we always appreciate that, but that's up to you. So, other than that, that's all I got on that. So, in the meantime, make mine marvel.